The unfolding events of March 8 have rapidly transformed into a particularly tense milestone for Iran. A constant stream of images and videos emerging from deep within the country's borders paints a grim and devastating picture. These visuals capture colossal pillars of fire, erupting skyward from critical energy facilities, strategic fuel depots, and key oil refineries. Within a mere few hours, numerous vital industrial zones have been engulfed in thick black smoke, creating a scene of utter desolation and revealing an unprecedented scale of destruction. Military analysts widely concur that this terrifying sequence of explosions is the result of large-scale, comprehensive airstrikes, with the U.S. Air Force's B-1 Lancer strategic bombers believed to be playing a predominant role. As of now, this marks the 9th day of a relentless campaign, which various parties have dubbed a furious scourge, suggesting that Iran's skies have been utterly stripped of their inherent safety. The B-1 Lancer bombers, affectionately nicknamed Bones by American pilots, are continuously unleashing immense quantities of ordnance deep into Iranian territory. These are areas where the nation's air traffic control and air defense systems are widely considered to have been significantly debilitated. The targets of these assaults are no longer confined to isolated military bases. Instead, they have pivoted directly toward Iran's crucial economic lifelines. Specifically, oil fields, vital fuel reserves, and strategic refineries have become the focal points of this extensive campaign. As these essential infrastructures are consumed by flames, the repercussions extend beyond mere physical destruction. It represents a direct and devastating blow to the financial resources that Tehran relies upon to sustain its missile program, its expansive network of proxy forces, and its burgeoning nuclear ambitions. In modern warfare, power is not solely derived from weaponry, but is deeply intertwined with financial strength. Should Iran's oil revenues be completely choked off, the very fabric of its ruling apparatus could begin to reveal internal fissures. When commanders within Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, are confronted with the stark reality of dwindling operational budgets and increasingly constrained resources for military activities, it could signal profound shifts and potential instability unfolding within Tehran's established power structure. Ladies and gentlemen, in parallel with these events, the ongoing military campaign is also serving as a clear demonstration of the U.S. Air Force's superior long-range strike capabilities. The supersonic B-1 Lancer bomber continues to showcase its remarkable ability to reach virtually any region across the globe, delivering high-precision attacks with overwhelming firepower. According to intelligence reports from U.S. and Israeli military sources, approximately 86% of Iran's ballistic missile capabilities were severely degraded in the initial days of the campaign. Concurrently, the Iranian Navy has sustained heavy losses, with over 30 warships reportedly incapacitated. The current strategy appears to be transitioning into a phase explicitly aimed at strangling Iran's war economy. When financial lifelines are severed, the nation's capacity to maintain its extensive proxy network and ambitious military programs will be significantly diminished. These attacks are not merely aimed at destroying individual missile systems. Rather, they target Iran's entire weapons production chain, particularly its vast ballistic missile manufacturing facilities. These are akin to massive logistics hubs, reminiscent of Amazon's sprawling warehouses. Intelligence assessments suggest Iran possesses the capability to produce over 100 ballistic missiles per month at these sites. Consequently, the destruction of these production facilities and their associated supply lines has emerged as a pivotal objective of the campaign. Alongside these large-scale assaults, regional tensions continue to escalate as pro-Iranian proxy forces persistently launch missiles and drones towards Israel. Tel Aviv has been compelled to activate its multi-layered defenses, with the Iron Dome system continuously intercepting incoming attacks. Not content with this, Israel has also deployed Iron Beam, an advanced directed energy laser system designed to operate in tandem with Iron Dome, thereby forging a new, sophisticated layer of defense in the Middle Eastern skies. Against this backdrop, B-1 Lancer strategic bombers, complemented by B-52s, continue to engage in fierce airstrikes, aiming to utterly dismantle Iran's missile production capabilities. These strikes are meticulously designed to weaken Iran's ability to rearm and sustain its offensive power, thereby ushering in a new and critical phase of confrontation in the escalating Middle East crisis. As the conflict intensifies, Iran has consistently issued official statements to explain its own attacks. The Tehran government asserts that its missile launches are exclusively directed at US military bases and assets. Iran's narrative suggests that if some missiles regrettably land in residential areas, the cause may stem from US electronic warfare systems, which could be diverting the missiles from their intended targets. However, this argument faces significant skepticism from the international community, as substantial on-site evidence indicates numerous explosions have occurred squarely within densely populated civilian zones. In this volatile context, Tehran's rhetoric has grown increasingly defiant. Iran's foreign minister has publicly declared that there will be no retreat, while the Iranian president continues to reaffirm a confrontational stance against regional adversaries. On the other opposing side, Israel has sent a clear signal that its military operations will continue to expand, specifically targeting energy infrastructure and key figures within the Iranian leadership if the situation further escalates. Last night marked a crucial turning point in the campaign, as US strategic bombers, including B-1B Lancers, B-52S, and even B-2 Spirits, for the first time directly struck Iran's oil-filled systems and pivotal refineries. In a single night, 5 critical locations, encompassing fuel storage depots and transit centers, were engulfed in ferocious flames. Colossal plumes of smoke billowing from energy industrial complexes signify the severe and widespread damage inflicted upon Tehran's energy supply. The strategic objectives of the campaign have been clearly articulated: to dismantle Iran's nuclear breakout capability, neutralize its ballistic missile stockpiles, cripple the Iranian navy, and sever the financial lifelines sustaining its regional proxy forces. According to multiple military reports, the airstrikes have successfully hit hundreds of targets across 174 cities throughout Iran. B-1 Lancers were observed streaking across the sky at supersonic speeds, their 4 jet engines roaring ferociously as they entered target areas before releasing colossal bombs, transforming energy industrial zones into vast seas of fire. The situation grew even more fraught when President Donald Trump delivered a stern message, demanding Iran's unconditional surrender and cautioning that even more powerful attacks lay ahead. While Washington intensifies its military pressure, Tehran has retaliated with waves of drone and missile launches targeting Gulf nations. These attacks have reportedly caused damage to several civilian targets and critical infrastructure across the region. A desalination plant in Bahrain sustained damage, raising immediate concerns about the clean water supply. Kuwait also reported casualties when missiles and drones impacted residential areas. In the United Arab Emirates, numerous explosions were recorded near airports, leading to a particularly tense and precarious aviation security environment throughout the region. The repercussions of these hostilities are not confined to the battlefield. They have rapidly rippled across the global energy market. Many commercial vessels have temporarily diverted from the Strait of Hormuz, a strategic shipping lane through which approximately 20% of the world's oil supply transits. This disruption has triggered a sharp increase in oil prices, although experts suggest the market could stabilize if Iran loses its capacity to target commercial shipping. Meanwhile, Iran's military power is rapidly diminishing. Its network defense strategy, predicated on 3 pillars: proxy forces, integrated air defense systems, and ballistic missile stockpiles, has largely lost its effectiveness. The Iranian navy is almost entirely crippled. Many air defense systems have been destroyed, and the number of daily missile launches has drastically decreased compared to the conflict's initial phase. Currently, Iran is only launching an estimated 6 to 10 missile volleys per day. In total, over 500 ballistic missiles and approximately 2,000 drones have been expended, suggesting that an initial stockpile of around 2,500 missiles may now be reduced to a mere 500 to 1,000. Another critical issue is the destruction of numerous launch platforms, leaving Iran with missiles but lacking the necessary means to deploy them. Efforts to conceal these launches within residential or agricultural areas for camouflage have proven ineffective in the long term, as many such positions have been detected and obliterated by B-1 Lancer and B-52 bombers in recent airstrikes. Even low-cost, mass-produced drones continue to be launched by Iran as part of an attrition warfare strategy. However, even these seemingly expendable weapons are facing increasing pressure from concerted US airstrike campaigns. Concurrently, pro-Iranian proxy forces in various regions are enduring fierce attacks from Israel, resulting in the destruction of numerous missile launchers in their arsenal. At this juncture, Iran's proxy forces are facing severe and mounting losses. The military campaign is undeniably inflicting a major strategic shock, with approximately 1,300 targets having been struck across Iranian territory. The vast majority of these targets are linked to units of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The frequency of missile launches has plummeted by an alarming 86%. Numerous missile storage depots have been severely damaged, while most of Iran's warships are virtually incapacitated. Even an Iranian drone-carrying warship was reportedly hit and destroyed, unequivocally demonstrating the rapidly shifting dynamics of the battlefield. In this escalating scenario, U.S. Air Force B-1 Lancer strategic bombers continue to operate above the Middle East, conducting missions around the clock. With their colossal weapon payload capacity, each B-1 is capable of delivering approximately 75,000 pounds, 34,000 kilograms, of bombs in a single sortie. These relentless attacks are raining down on Iran's refineries and energy facilities, transforming many industrial complexes into vast infernos. The B-1 aircraft are penetrating deep into Iranian territory, meticulously releasing precision-guided munitions onto strategic targets. Throughout the entire campaign, the B-1 Lancer has proven to be the primary workhorse for long-range attacks aimed at dismantling Tehran's energy infrastructure. These supersonic beasts can achieve speeds of up to Mach 1.2. The aircraft is equipped with terrain-following radar, enabling precise, low-altitude flight. Furthermore, its airframe incorporates radar-absorbent materials to significantly reduce its radar cross-section. While not a true stealth aircraft, the B-1 is ingeniously designed to maximize its ability to evade detection. Given the current U.S. air superiority in the region, B-1 aircraft possess the flexibility to dynamically alter their flight altitude, from low-level maneuvers to evade radar to high-altitude transit for optimized attack range. B-1 missions typically extend for many hours, meticulously supported by aerial refueling operations. These aircraft can launch from forward operating bases within the region or from the remote Diego Garcia base in the Indian Ocean. Moreover, the United Kingdom has granted access to its military bases for B-1 operations. Several images show B-1s landing at British airfields, serving as clear testament to the extensive and deep coordination among allies in this expansive campaign. The B-1 Lancer is recognized as one of the world's premier bombers for carrying conventional weapon payloads. It can accommodate approximately 75,000 pounds, 34,000 kilograms of ordnance across 3 distinct bomb bays. During the initial phase of the campaign, the B-1 likely utilized JASSM, Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff Missile, long-range cruise missiles, enabling it to engage targets from a safe standoff distance. As the campaign progressed and air superiority was established, the aircraft transitioned to employing highly accurate JDAM Joint Direct Attack Munition guided bombs for closer engagements. Numerous analyses suggest that the attacks on Iran's oil refineries have predominantly involved JDAMs. A single B-1 can carry up to 24 GBU, 3-1 JDAMs, each weighing approximately 2,000 pounds 907 kilograms, or around 30 GBU, 3-8 JDAMs, weighing roughly 500 pounds 227 kilograms apiece. These highly accurate precision-guided weapons are capable of transforming massive oil refineries and storage tanks into immense bomb craters with remarkably low error margins. The B-1's crew consists of 4 personnel: the aircraft commander, co-pilot, and 2 weapons systems officers. One officer is responsible for controlling the sophisticated attack systems, while the other manages the electronic defense systems and safeguards the aircraft against potential threats. The B-1 is also equipped with the AN/AAQ-33 Sniper Advanced Targeting Pod, which facilitates laser designation, reconnaissance, and real-time engagement of both fixed and moving targets. While B-1 Lancer bombers delve deep into Iranian territory, the operational skies are also heavily populated with US fighter jets. F-22 Raptors and F-35 Lightning IIs are performing critical escort and protective roles for these strategic bombers, ensuring that the relentless attacks on Iran's energy and military infrastructure can be executed with the utmost level of safety and effectiveness. Within Iran, recently surfaced images depict members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps deployed on city streets, openly carrying heavy weaponry. There are even disturbing reports indicating that these forces have opened fire in residential areas. Such developments strongly suggest that Tehran's security apparatus is operating under extreme tension, potentially even entering the sensitive initial stages of an internal power crisis. A significant question now looms. Could ethnic forces, such as the Kurds, become involved in a direct confrontation with the Iranian security establishment? If such a scenario were to unfold, the internal battlefield dynamics within Iran could dramatically shift, transforming engagement with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps from sporadic individual protests into a far more organized and structured conflict. However, many analyses suggest that the Venezuela model cannot be readily applied to Iran. The country currently lacks a unified and sufficiently potent internal opposition force. Most past opposition movements have historically operated from outside Iranian territory, making the organization of a large-scale domestic uprising exceedingly challenging. Past protests have starkly demonstrated that the vast majority of participants were unarmed and often met with brutal suppression. In numerous instances, Iranian security forces resorted to using live ammunition to disperse demonstrations. Concurrently, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is built upon an exceptionally strong ideological foundation rooted in the Islamic Republic, and most of its members hold deep-seated faith in the existing system. Consequently, many analysts contend that a significant shift in the prevailing situation can only occur if and when a critical internal fissure emerges from within the very core of the power structure itself. Should a faction within the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps or the regular Iranian military begin to question the future trajectory of the regime and its leadership, it could indeed become a pivotal turning point. In such complex situations, the U.S. intelligence community, particularly the CIA, typically seeks to identify individuals or groups within the existing system who possess the capacity to catalyze political transition. The objective is to engineer a form of top-down protection, where a segment of the ruling apparatus ultimately decides to cease its suppression of the populace. However, current realities strongly indicate that such a possibility remains exceedingly remote. Over the past 48 hours, Iranian security forces have issued extremely stern warnings to the populace. Any form of protest action, they cautioned, could be met with overwhelming force. This places the Iranian people in a perilous predicament. After years of witnessing protests brutally suppressed and countless lives lost, the likelihood of a large-scale uprising emerging is considered exceptionally low, without fundamental change originating from within the ruling power structure. Meanwhile, the broader strategic landscape of the Middle East is rapidly extending far beyond the immediate scope of airstrikes or reciprocal missile exchanges. The current confrontation has evolved into a multi-layered strategic chess game, where each calculated move carries the potential to profoundly influence the entire regional dynamic. President Donald Trump and the U.S. administration are pursuing a strategy of overwhelming force, with the explicit goal of compelling Iran to an unconditional surrender, rapidly concluding the conflict, and utterly eradicating Tehran's will to pursue nuclear weapons capabilities. Washington seeks not only to demolish Iran's military and energy infrastructure, but also to unequivocally impress upon the Iranian leadership that the path of nuclear weapons development leads inexorably to ruin, self-destruction. In this volatile context, the prospect of regime change is increasingly being discussed by many analysts as a potential consequence if military and political pressure continues its relentless escalation. Parallel to the ongoing attacks on energy infrastructure, the strategic risk of escalation is now intensely focused on the Strait of Hormuz, arguably the world's most critical oil shipping lane. With most of the Iranian Navy's larger warships having sustained significant damage, Tehran might resort to deploying small, agile speedboats to harass and disrupt this vital maritime route. Even a single series of attacks or significant harassment in this critical waterway could instantaneously destabilize the global energy market. Meanwhile, Iran's proxy forces could also be driven to a final, desperate phase of aggressive action. With their oil-derived funding sources increasingly constrained, these groups might launch last-ditch strikes to demonstrate their enduring capacity for destabilization. Should such a scenario unfold, large-scale aerial campaigns could expand significantly. A 10 Thunderbolt II attack aircraft might be deployed for low-altitude runs, specifically targeting agile maritime speedboats. Concurrently, B-1 Lancer and B-52 strategic bombers would likely intensify airstrikes against key Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC) facilities. These unfolding developments collectively paint a clear strategic picture. The B-1 Lancer is playing a primary role in deep strike operations within Iranian territory. Tehran's energy infrastructure is becoming a pivotal target, and the confrontation between the US and Iran is rapidly advancing towards a decisive phase. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our video segment for today. Thank you for your attention and for tuning in.